Hello my friends, and welcome to today's class. Today we will be staying low to the ground, keeping it nice and slow, but adding in some fun stuff as well. Let's get right to it. Let's begin today at the back of the mat, sitting on the heels. Tops of the feet are face down to the floor. Softly close the eyes, and let's elongate through that spine, rolling the shoulders back as we sit up nice and tall. Hands come to the thighs, and let's just start paying attention to the breath. Let's bring one hand to the belly and one to the heart. And feel the soft rise and fall of the belly on the inhales and on the exhales. Gently start elongating the inhales, filling up the chest and the belly. And then on the exhale, exhale all the air to the stomach and chest. Just working with your own breath. We'll stay here for a few breaths, few rounds of breathing. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Keep going with the breath. Let's just slowly come off of the toes, off of the tops of the feet, and come onto the toes, sitting back on the heels, finding a stretch to the feet, the bottom of the feet. Keep that breath nice and full. Relax the hands down to the thighs. 2 more big deep breaths. Softly open the eyes. Let's crawl the hands forward, and we'll move through some cat-cow. So keep the toes tucked, shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees. Wait for the inhale, arch the back, look up, and then exhale, round it all out. Keep that breath nice and full, nice and slow. Two more rounds here. Coming back to neutral, let's walk the hands forward, drop the chest for puppy dog. Hips stay over the knees, chest comes down to the floor, maybe relaxing the chin, maybe relaxing the forehead. Keeping that breath bright. Filling up the lungs and the belly on the inhale, and then on the exhale, sinking a bit deeper into the posture. Softly press through the hands on the inhale, come back up to center, and we'll thread the needle. So let's start by inhaling that right arm up nice and wide, and then exhale, drop that hand down, find the right cheek to the mat. Finding a nice spot to gaze, or maybe gently closing the eyes here. Press through that left hand. Inhale, come back up to center. Let's spin around on that left foot. Draw that right foot out and reach overhead for gate. Nice big deep breaths here. Right foot is in line with the body. Exhale, drop that hand back down. Let's spin back, come back to neutral, and we'll switch sides. Wait for the inhale. Left arm comes up nice and high. Exhale, thread it through, finding this time the left cheek to the mat. Keep those hips square. And then as we inhale, let's press through that right hand, pivot on that left foot, pivot on that right foot, draw the left foot down beside us, and reach overhead for gate on the opposite side. A few nice big breaths here. And then exhale, come back to center. Let's drop down to the bellies. So just come all the way down, however you see fit. Come all the way down. Bring the arms out into Sphinx, and we'll just pause here for a moment, taking a few breaths, really pressing that chest forward, drawing the shoulder blades back, and making sure our breath stays nice and full here. And then let's exhale, draw the forehead to the mat. Let's bring our right knee up towards our right arm, about 90 degrees. And we'll relax here for a moment. Option to gently press up into that Sphinx, adding on a little bit. Or you can stay down where you are, wherever you are, breathing nice and big. Nice, big, deep breaths. Exhale, draw that leg back to meet the left. Let's reach out with our right shoulder, roll over to our right side, opening up that right shoulder. Left hand can either come in front, you can reach for your back foot, wherever you feel comfortable today. I'm going to keep it nice and chill, so I'm just going to stay here. You are welcome if you have a little bit extra in your practice. By all means, go there. Inhale, roll back to center. We'll switch sides. So let's start by drawing that left knee up towards our left elbow. And either staying here, relaxing the forehead on the mat, or pressing up into Sphinx. If we're in Sphinx, our shoulders are drawn back and we're pressing through that chest. And exhale, come back down. Reach the head down, or drop the head down to the mat. Let's bring our hands down by our sides. Place the palms facing down on the mat. And we're going to lift the chin up just ever so slightly. So shoulders roll back. And we're just going to start lifting that left leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just adding a little bit of fire to our practice. Let's exhale it all the way down. Inhale, come back up. Just lift the chest ever so slightly. And we'll do for 5 on the right side, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale it all down. This time we're going to come up into the full expression of locust. So let's inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, draw that chest up, lift the arms, and then bring the legs up to meet it. So really pressing through that hip bone, through that pelvic bone. Keeping that breath nice and strong. And then exhale. Let's press it all the way back to child's pose. Your choice, either wide leg or keep the legs, the knees together. We'll just settle down here for a few breaths. Next inhale, let's press the hips forward. Draw those knees together if they were apart. Walk the hands just a little bit forward, and we'll take a big step up with that right foot. Start heel-toeing the foot across the mat, and we're going to come into our pigeon. So it doesn't matter if your right foot is bent towards you or if it's more in front, square with the top edge of the mat. That just depends on individual flexibility. And we're going to keep this pigeon active today. So let's take an inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. And as we do so, let's press through that left hip, drawing the hip forward. Keeping that chest, just a little mini back bend. And gazing softly just up a little bit. Keeping that breath big and bright. We always want to make sure that at any sort of back bend, even no matter how small it is, that we keep our breath fluid. Back bends have a tendency to sort of hold our breath, so let's try not to do that today. Let's inhale, draw that back leg up towards the hand, and if this is enough, stay here. If you can come into mermaid, let's hook that foot into our right arm, clasp the hands, and face the chest forward. Again, staying with that breath. Enjoying all that this posture has to offer. We'll stay for one more breath. And then exhale, slowly let go. Let's drop the right hand down. Keep that left foot in your hand and challenge yourself. See if you can bring that left foot all the way forward. Drawing that foot out ahead of you, straightening the leg. Sitting up nice and tall. Try not to round through that lower back. And then on the inhale, let's place our right hand behind us. Let's lean back just a little bit. Plant that right foot. Cross that that left leg across the right knee. And we'll come into a seated figure 4. So just gently leaning the hands back. And you can play with how close you want that front leg to find how much of a stretch you want into that left glute. Wherever you are, just staying here for a few breaths. And then exhale, let's release that foot down. We're not going to come all the way out of it. Let's just drop that left knee down, setting up for pigeon on the opposite side. So extend that right leg back. Just take a moment, find your pigeon, wherever that left foot wants to go. Find a comfortable spot. And then on the inhale, let's draw those shoulders up and back, coming into our active pigeon on the opposite side. So really pressing through that right hip, trying to keep those hips square. All the while lifting the chest and drawing the shoulders together. Crown of the head stays lifted. Let's inhale that right foot up, grab onto that foot, Again, if this is enough, stay here. Or if you have mermaid in your practice, let's hook that right arm around the right toes, find the clasp, and send that chest forward. So our shoulders are slowly rolling forward here, so we're trying to kind of square them off. Same thing with the hips. Making sure we're not feeling any pinching or pain. Maybe the stretch is a little bit intense, but as long as it's not hurting, then you're all good. If it's hurting, just come out of it. And then exhale, drop that left hand down, find the hand on the right foot, and we'll just spin that foot around. Whew. Coming in to the opposite side. Just keeping that leg stretched in front. Again, trying to keep that lower back nice and tall. And then once again, let's inhale, drop that left hand back this time, plant the left foot, cross the right leg over that left knee, and come into our figure four on the opposite side. Hands just gently walk behind you, and keep that chest lifted, chin stays tucked. Taking a few breaths here. And we'll exhale, just release that right foot down. We're going to come all the way back, find your way all the way back to child's pose at the back of the mat. Just taking a moment to reset here. Check in with the breath. And then inhale, let's press back up. Once again, take a big step up with that right foot, this time on the outside of those hands. And we'll come into your version of lizard. So that right knee is tracking over the right ankle and either staying up on the hands or coming down to forearms. Whatever suits you best today. Wherever we are, still keeping that spine nice and long. So the crown of the head is pulling away from that back foot. And our breath is bright and strong. One more big deep breath. And then as we exhale, we'll come into a variation of lizard. So let's pick up that left knee, left leg. We're going to drop the right knee out to the side. Left forearm comes down to the mat. And see if you can catch that back foot. So we're rolling that right shoulder up towards the sky. Sinking into that left hip flexor and maybe bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling. Keeping that the left arm pressed away so our shoulder, we're not dumping all that weight into the shoulder. Keeping a nice strong base, strong foundation. And then exhale, drop that leg back down. We'll just step it right back to tabletop and we'll switch sides. So step the left foot up this time outside of the hands. And once again, find your lizard. So either up on the hands or down on the forearms. Trying to keep that left leg tracking over that left knee. That left knee tracking over that left ankle. Drawing the crown of the head away from that right foot. Inhale, let's come up to the hands for the first part. Let's draw that right leg up towards us, maybe catching onto it with our left hand. And if you have it in your practice, you can come down to the forearm. You can also stay up on your hand if you need to. And then we'll let that left knee fall out towards the side. Again, really pressing through that elbow, drawing the weight out of that right shoulder, and then bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling. left shoulder opens up. Exhale, draw that hand back down. Hands come back down to the floor, step it back, and we'll just find our way all the way back to seated, extending the legs in front of you. Let's bend through that right leg, step over the left, and then we're going to bend the left leg, coming into our cow face pose. So the right knee is stacked on top of the left, right hip draws down to the floor, and let's roll the shoulders up and back, sitting up nice and tall. Staying here for a few deep breaths. And then let's exhale, just draw the hands behind you and we'll switch sides. So right leg comes underneath, left leg comes on top. Trying to stack the knees as close as possible as you can to on top of each other. More importantly, we're keeping both hips glued to the floor here. So we're not lifting through that left hip. And then once again, we'll inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, sitting up nice and tall, taking a few deep breaths. Draw the hands behind you. Let's bring the legs out ahead and just give them a little windshield wipe. Keep that right leg extended. Draw the left foot in. So the left sole of the foot meets the inner right thigh. I'm going to come into Janu Shirshasana on the right side. So take a big inhale, sit up nice and tall, and then exhale, we fold over that right leg. So finding wherever you can, maybe your hands come to the shins, maybe they come to the foot, maybe you have a strap, wherever you are, just breathing here, keeping a little bend in that knee, keeping that right foot active, and our chest draws up and then down towards the thigh, maybe dropping the head. Inhale, come back up. Let's open that right knee up. Place the right hand inside the right lower leg, the right calf. Inhale that left leg up, and we'll just reach over towards that right foot. So try to keep that left shoulder rolling up and back. So don't worry too much if you can reach the foot. Maybe we can, but maybe we're collapsing through that left shoulder. So let's try to keep it open nice and wide. Finding wherever you can go today. Really pressing down through that left hip and at the same time reaching away with that left arm. Inhale, draw that arm up and over, place it behind the right thigh, the left thigh, and then inhale, open it up for half wild thing. Keeping mind of your surroundings, not to hit your record player. Exhale, let's bring it all back down and we'll switch sides. Left leg extends, right leg comes in, sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. Take an inhale here, roll the chest up and back, and then exhale, we fold. Once again, same thing, try to do the same thing on both sides. So if you were hands on the shins on the other side, let's do it on this side. Or if your hands were around the foot, we will stay there. Inhale brings you lift, and exhale brings you a little deeper into the pose. Stay here for a few breaths. And then inhale, come back up through center. Let's open that right leg out nice and wide. And once again, we will stretch overhead. So let's place that left hand inside the left leg. Inhale that right arm up and over. And exhale, draw that right arm over to your left foot, Keeping that shoulder rolled up and back. Again, not worrying if you can reach the foot, just finding that nice stretch, pressing through that right hip and reaching away with that right arm. Inhale, draw that right arm behind the hip, left arm comes up and over, send the hips up nice and high. Exhale, come back down through center. Straighten out the legs and we'll shift down, coming down to our back. Just taking a moment here, let the knees fall together. Next inhale, open the arms nice and wide, and we'll just shuffle the hips over to the right side and let the knees fall to the left. Keeping that left shoulder glued to the mat. And maybe bringing that gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Center the hips, and we'll switch sides. Let's shuffle over to the left side, and then drop the hips over to the right. Once again, gluing that shoulder down to the floor. And maybe bringing that gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back up through center. Shuffle those hips back once again. And we'll inhale, grab our knees to our chest, give ourselves a big hug. And then exhale, relax down, drawing the legs out beside you for a final resting pose. Feet stay nice and wide, hands wider than the shoulders. And let's release any breath we were controlling. Just come back to the natural state of breath. Starting to relax each part of the body down to the mat. And just staying here for a few minutes. Slowly starting to bring some awareness back, wiggling the fingers and the toes, starting to make the movements a little bit bigger, and eventually drawing our knees into our chest and giving ourselves a nice big hug. Let's gently rock up to seated and find a nice comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed, let's roll the shoulders up and back. Draw that spine nice and long. And we'll close our practice today with one cleansing breath. So let's exhale all the air out. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Softly opening the eyes. That is all for today's practice. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you next time.